Well, another bold and vicious crime, apparently fueled by racism, has led to an intense investigation tonight in Queens. Police say 3 black men were savagely beaten by a gang of white attackers at Howard Beach.
One of them was so scared that he ran across the highway and got hit by a car. Boom.
Police say 2 of the 3 black men were chased by the gang of whites to 156th Avenue and the Belt Parkway, where police say a second beating took place.
You know, you live in New York. New York is supposed to be the melting pot. So it's supposed to be a lot of diversity in New York. You're not supposed to see the kind of racism that you do see.
This is not Selma 1950. This is not Mississippi. This is New York Christmas 86. And black kids are still being ran over parkways.
Everybody was doing everything except for talking to the students.
It's intolerable and unacceptable, and this city will rise up in its wrath against those who perpetrated that monstrosity and those who support it.
With all the drama that was going on, nobody sat down. We didn't have an assembly and sit down and talk about the incident. It was almost as if nobody wanted to talk about the racism. We knew what we was playing for, and we were on a mission. I was playing to show that we weren't those animals, that, you know, the white kids that went to our school weren't the animals that they were being depicted to be in the media. You know what I mean? So we was putting on a fight, not just for us, but for everybody.
Police in New York City today have taken into custody almost a dozen young people who were allegedly involved in a particularly ugly incident of racial violence over the weekend. The mayor of New York called it a racial lynching. Here's ABC's Bill O'Reilly.
How can you deny? A kid was just killed.
There was anger on the streets of the borough of Queens today in the aftermath of an apparently racially motivated attack on 3 black men Saturday morning. 23-year-old Michael Griffith was killed in a traffic accident while fleeing a gang of white teenagers who had allegedly assaulted him and 2 friends. 10 boys and a girl ages 15 to 18 have been taken into custody. The incident occurred in the overwhelmingly white working-class section of Howard Beach, which is close to the large black neighborhood of Bedford-Stuyvesant.
You know, I love New York for the good, the bad, and the ugly, but it's not perfect. It's not always perfect. We had protesters and marches everywhere, and it was pandemonium. I ain't never seen anything like that before. I had to decide what high school to go to, and I was being recruited by a lot of the Catholic schools. But I didn't want to go to Catholic school. I had seen this school, John Adams, I seen him playing on TV for like 2 or 3 years in a row, and I loved their coach. You know, their coach was a little Italian guy, big mustache, and I loved him. I loved the way he talked. I loved the way his team came out. No flashy uniforms. They just wanted to play football. That's it. They wanted to block, tackle, and hit. And that's all I wanted to do. Block, tackle, and hit, play football. So they gave me a chance to go to that school, play football, and that's what I did. I decided to go to John Adams, dog. The Howard Beach case happened, and they put a black eye on the game. It would have been easy for me to kind of ignore the whole Howard Beach incident, but I knew in my mind that that could have been me or any one of my friends that could have been put into that situation. And when the word came out that there was a dude that had got killed in Howard Beach, it was just almost instantaneously that everybody's phone would start ringing just to make sure that, you know, everybody was accounted for. You know, it was a lot of stuff going on. The black kids was beating up the white kids, and the white kids was beating up the black kids and chasing them, and it was just like crazy at my school at the time. Like every day we would go to school, we would have bomb threats. People was threatening to blow up the school, and they was leaving packages on the football field, and it was crazy, son. In our first game, we had probably more police and security at the game than actual fans or students. And and we played that game, that first game, and we won. We beat Kennedy maybe 34-7. I mean, we kind of destroyed them. That game wasn't even too close. Boom! So it was just like that. They gave me the ball up the middle. I ran 70 yards. I scored my first touchdown. It was a 70-yard touchdown run, and it was against John F. Kennedy High School.
Y'all were in a bubble.
We was in a bubble.
Because if you look at it, the field was the bubble.
It was the bubble.
That was the bubble because everything that was boiling around y'all.
All around it.
Was ridiculous.
It was like everybody wanted us to hate our teammates because of an incident that happened that had nothing to do with them.
Why is it that right outside the gate, you had the piranhas and the wolves waiting for you because you was a different color? It didn't make any sense.
No sense.
But I always thought it was cowardice because it took them to have a whole group of people to want to mess with you. And they didn't really mess with you while you were standing in front of them. You could be up the block somewhere. Then they want to call you a name and want to chase you.
Yo, they had a bat with spikes. You know what I'm saying? So when everybody started running, I mean, that's why he was running. Like, they was playing for keeps. And it was real like that.
Actually, all that outside stuff actually brought the team together because we concentrated on what we had to do.
We have an Asian guy here. We have a Russian.
Yeah, I believe so.
Mexican, Guatemalan, Puerto Rican. Those guys were my family, and, I treated them good, and I got persecuted a lot for that. And a lot of people may not know that, but I got treated badly by a lot of my peoples because I, hung out with the football team, I hung out with the Italian guys, and, but that was my lane. That's what I did.
You put that helmet on, we were all brothers. Didn't make a difference what color you were. We were all brothers once we got on the field. And that helped us big time.
I felt almost the need to take the whole matter upon myself to show the city that black, white, Hispanic, whatever nationality you are, you can work well together with people. So collectively, we started making sure that we kind of took care of each other, and that way we would show more than just talk about things. We would show people exactly where we was at with it.
A lot of guys from Atlanta came down. Only one play, though.
Every week it would be a little more drama added to the scenario. The more we win, the more people hate it, and that was my motivation. I let the hate fuel my motivation to be extra good for the team, for the school, and that's what I wanted to do.
Saturday came around, we got on the field, everybody did their job. As long as you did your job, we were gonna win.
When we had to go play the predominantly black schools, I remember we played Jackson, and we had to go in there and play, and they had people like throwing 40-ounce bottles at us, man. We had to get police escort to the game. And after the game, we had to get police escort on the bus. It was just bad, week in and week out. So, we had another game against Bayside. Now, Bayside was our actual rival in Queens. Somebody canceled our bus. And we had no bus to take us to the game. Now, how the heck, who can cancel a bus? Like how the bus don't know we got a game, dog? We wound up winning that game too. That game kind of illustrated, kind of changed how our school went. From then on, it was kind of peaceful in the school. Everybody was happy. The atmosphere was really, really, really different than it was when we first went to school. And this was maybe our 4th or 5th week. And you could actually see the energy and the excitement in the students. The whole time that it happened, everybody kind of portrayed Adams as a racist or kind of in a negative light. They didn't really have us in a positive light. Nobody never came and talked to the students and never talked to us and find out. One person did. I'm not going to say that. One person did. Jimmy Breslin. And he wrote an article about the Howard Beach case and the John Adams football team. And basically what he was trying to show was the true character of what that neighborhood was about. And it wasn't about just those few guys or that incident that happened. It was a lot bigger than that.
And in high school football, this is John Adams High School. They will battle for the PSAL title. Down in front, Arthur Dennis has scored 6 touchdowns in one game.
A lot of guys from Lane came down. Only one plays, though.
By the time we got to this championship game, it was kind of weird because we kind of felt like the whole city behind us at the time. Being in the newspapers for so much negativity and then for being in there for something positive. And actually at the game, you know, people were actually cheering for us to win. It was a close game. It went down to overtime. And the coach pulled me into that huddle, and he had the whole offense there. And he looked at me dead in my face, and he said, everybody knows what play we're going to run. You know what the play is. They know what the play is. And the whole arena know what play we're going to run. But they still have to stop it. Now go out there and run that play. You could feel that the energy, you could feel it in the city. The whole city was happy. You know, the press, they did a good job. They gave us some headlines. And I think it took a lot of tension out of the racial tensions that was going on in New York at the time. And a lot of people don't realize the pressure that was put on us that year. The biggest attribute that they gave was that the New York Post gave Athlete of the Week to the whole team.
Yeah, I didn't realize that.
Yeah, they gave it to the whole team. And I think that was their way of saying, you know, these kids right here deserve, you know, to be honored. Yeah, I built that A right there, dog. That A stands for AD. I scored a lot of touchdowns on this field.
A lot of guys from Lane came down. Only one plays, though.
It was tough for me to see what had happened to Michael Griffin. You know, it bothered me a lot, that situation. You know, being indirectly involved kind of changed my life, the way I think, the way I see things. And, you know, to fast forward 30 years later and to see that we still have some of these same situations, and it's bothering me now, the situation with Freddie Gray, Mike Brown, Trayvon Martin, Eric Garner, you know, to see that, you know, from those situations, this is why we need people to take a stand, you know, stand up. You know, you got to stand for something or you'll fall for anything. And that's one of the models my man Monty Barrett used to use. And that's something that I think we all need to do. We need to stand for something. If we just stand by and don't say anything, you might as well just be out there condoning the racism or the police brutality that's going on. And those are one of the things that we have to do. We have to address situations. That doesn't make you a bad person. It doesn't make you racist. It doesn't make you not like the police and those types of situations. What it does is it helps bring awareness to the situation, and it helps come up with a resolution.